My first question, how would you describe right now the German politics? Does Angela Merkel has more room for maneuver with regard to Russia and Ukraine or less?
To be honest, the part of people who ask themselves whether it's not time to come back to good old terms with Moscow and start pushing the Crimea issue and the Donbas issue aside is getting bigger. There is even some open opposition coming from the Christian Democrats against Angela Merkel's politics, which means her own people. And we have a strong right-wing party who is anti-American and pro-Moscow, who is the propaganda machine for Moscow's interest, together with the extreme left party. So there is a lot of opposition sticking to our European peace order and to international law, which means Moscow hands away from Donbas and hands away from Crimea.
You were following the new European wars from the Balkans to Russian aggression. Do you think that Europe has changed on its attitude towards the wars close to it from 90s to present time?
Well, there are, of course, differences, but there are similarities, and which really already in the 90s irritated me so much that for such a long time we did not really want to see what was happening on the ground of Yugoslavia falling apart. It was not a civil war. It was the old Yugoslavian, then Serbian army, plus their paramilitary aides that were being aggressive against Croatia and against Bosnia because they wanted to have their own nation state, which they had the right to do by constitution. And Europe somehow did not really want to open their eyes to see that if we wanted to, we could distinct between an aggressor and a victim. Victims not always are angels. They do bad also, but still, number one is to distinct between the aggressor and the victim. And this is the similarity which we have with the war, especially in Donbas. We let Moscow and Kremlin propaganda get by with the explanation that those separatists, well, might have been helped by some Russian soldiers on holiday, but that it's not their affair. This is a big lie. We can know it, but we don't want to know it. And just this diplomatic sentence, we ask Kremlin to please try to influence the separatists that they don't do this or that, is covering the truth. The truth is those guys there are getting their orders and their money and their tanks and their military possibilities from Moscow. This is the truth. So everything starts with the truth. We did not speak out on the truth when Yugoslavia was falling apart and Bosnia was the victim. We do not speak out the truth and hesitate to speak out the truth on Russia's role, on Crimea, and more so on Donbas.
We're talking so much about the backlash of populists who are saying that you should be strong, and Putin is an example of a strong man. Do you see any signs of a backlash against the backlash? The liberals thinking that they should protect European freedoms in Germany and in Europe as a whole?
I think that we have not really understood yet the depth of our crisis. We are still thinking in old terms of left-wing or right-wing politics. And this is not the question anymore. The right wing and the left wing meet on Crimea, invited by Mr. Putin. So the question which we have to talk about and which is at stake is, are we going towards authoritarian rules, little individual rights for people, especially those who have difference, who are not homogeneous with the society, or liberal democracy, which of course means rules that all have to stick to, but also means the right of minority, the respect and the dignity of minorities, of course having different ethnic groups, having different religious groups, having men loving women and having women loving women, and this is modern life. It gives freedom to people, and I think our societies have not understood yet that those freedoms are massively attacked by patriarch, conservative, nationalistic, anti-parliamentarian, anti-Western forces. In UKIP, in Great Britain with UKIP, in France with Le Pen, in Germany with AfD, in Poland with Kaczynski's, in the United States with Trump, in Russia with Putin. So we do have the beginning of an international authoritarian internationalist movement, and we should better wake up.
My last question about Nord Stream. We are discussing so much in Ukraine. Do you think that the battle against Nord Stream is lost in Germany, or is there any chance to oppose it?
If you look at the bureaucratic procedures, I think they are finished, which means green light for building that Nord Stream. I am upset about those who really claim that it is just a commercial project and not a political one. Of course it is a political project. There is a few new signs since Chancellor Merkel said it cannot be Ukraine that pays the price for that pipeline. There must be negotiations, but taking into account that Russia and Gazprom did not accept the outcome of the arbitrage judiciary on the case Ukraine towards Gazprom, I want to see really strong negotiations that we can and Ukraine can rely on. I say, remember the Budapest memorandum in 1994 seemed to be very strong. It was even written on paper, and your poor country has seen that it was not worth anything at a time when you would have needed it. So, better be careful if Mr. Miller shows a soft sign for a day and says, well, we'll give some gas and make it go through Ukraine also. That's not enough.